Hello. So yes, in the shamanic tradition, we have the god of the suffering, the god of pain. His name is Erlich, and in this video, I am going to tell you what is the role of this spirit, how we use it in shamanism, and how actually you can use it in your life. First, most important, we need to understand. For me, this was very big change to when I arrived to shamanism. I came from yoga, from meditation, and the relationship with suffering and pain in those traditions were a bit different. In shamanism, there is one specific world with one specific God that is focused on our suffering, our pain, our limitations, our limiting beliefs, the dense, the heavy. One wall of four of them, one of them is dedicated to this. So we go to this space, and we do this in shamanism consciously. We travel in the drum meditations, in the drum journeys, in the state of trance. We travel to this space with the purpose to actually liberate ourselves from the pain and the suffering. And here we find the very big first difference with the normal behavior. In our normal life, we try to overcome pain and sufferings through avoiding the situations that they bring pain and suffering. So we build a life full of comfort, full of control, full of situations that they are pleasant for us, people that they are pleasant for us. So we try to build a life that stands as far as possible from the pain and the suffering. Funny thing is that we don't get it. We don't. We fail in doing this all the time, because there is one way or another that the plan does not go as we want, or this or that person does not behave the way we want, or the outcome of certain actions are not exactly the outcome we wanted. So funny thing is that we all know this. Probably you are in this channel looking for alternative ways, alternative paths, because in some level you realize this. It is not working. Even if we try with all our effort, all our skills, and all our knowledge, sooner or later we go to touch the pain, we go to touch the suffering, the frustration, the lower feelings, the negative feelings. So this is the first thing that the shamanism, the Siberian shamanism, I'm talking from this tradition, this is my tradition, the first thing is telling us, you cannot avoid it. This is 1/4 of the manifested reality. You cannot avoid it, and this is a very big shift we need to understand. So let's go in this direction. What happens if we cannot avoid it? Then the alternative is we need to learn how to navigate it. And then this is when the shamanic wall of the suffering, which is called the underworld, and the shamanic god of the suffering and the pain, which is called Erlich, they play the role. This wall and this god help us to learn how to navigate the suffering and the pain in the way that we don't lose ourselves. Let's go in this direction. What means we don't lose ourselves? It means that in the presence of pain and in the presence of suffering, our heart does not close. I want you to stay one moment, some seconds with this idea, because this is the real meaning of mastering your pain and mastering your suffering. Does not mean that you eradicate, you avoid, you remove fully suffering from your life. Is that you are so conscious and so aware that in the presence of suffering or in the presence of pain, your pain or the pain of others, your heart does not close. and you don't react, meaning you don't lose yourself and you don't act unconsciously based on the fear or based on the pain. You are still connected to your natural intuition, you are still connected to your higher self, and you can still follow your path. You don't lose your path, you don't lose yourself, your direction in this moment. This is the whole meaning about mastering suffering. The god of the underworld, Erlich, is helping us to do this. How? I will explain to you. When we go in rituals to the underworld, we meditate and we feel how our sensations and our feelings and our thoughts start matching this heavy state of being. We go to the underworld. Then this God, this spirit, come to us and we have the opportunity to create a relationship with him. Now you may say, oh my God, the God of suffering and pain, do I really want to have a relationship with it? This is not a God that is bringing pain or bringing suffering. It's a God who represents this mastery over pain and suffering. So if you are down in the underworld, feeling your own pain, feeling your own heaviness, but in this moment, you are able to open your heart to this God. This God is there, down there. He's a God, a spirit who is down there in the underworld. And when you go there, you can meet him. And you are able to open your heart to him. We call this the confession. We are able to share our pain, to express it with the spirit, to say, Spirit, look, I have this in me. I would like not to have it, but I have it. I have this limitation, I have this pain, I have this negative memory, this dirty energy, heavy energy. I have it. And in this moment, if we are able to confess to him like he's a friend, like he's someone that we can trust, in this moment our hearts open. And when our hearts open in the underworld, all the reactions and rejection that we were gathering towards this pain and this suffering and this heavy energy disappear, because when our heart relaxed, we stop judging. And in this moment, we observe how this terrible pain and terrible suffering becomes just another experience. It's not anymore stopping us from being ourselves, and they are not anymore stopping us from act freely in the direction of our purpose. This is the healing process. So the God of the suffering and the God of pain, which is Erlich, is helping us to heal, to fulfill this journey in which we become free from the suffering. We become able, which it is, remember, we become able to look at it, to feel it in us and in others and in the world and in the news and in our partner and in our friends, in our body, and we become able to embrace it fully. I want to give you an example. Jesus, in his example about the life of Jesus, in his path, in the very end, he had the last test, which was the crucifixion, and in this moment, it was the highest. Can you imagine the level of suffering? We didn't live this reality. We watch it in movies, but you can imagine which is the level of physical suffering because of the punishment that he was receiving in the body, and the emotional suffering to see the people he was trying to save, the people he was actually loving, judging him, condemning him, killing him. So it was a very strong suffering too. And it was the last test of Jesus, was to be able to go through this process and with no losing his heart, with no losing the memory of the Spirit, with no losing the memory of God, the connection with God. And he went through it. It was a very strong test. It was his last test. And in the very end, he managed, when he was in the cross, he realized that he went through it, and finally he didn't lose the God in his heart. Finally, his heart relaxed. He opened even in the worst suffering of the world, and he could see, even here, even in this very extreme scenario, I am free, and I'm still connected to God, and I'm still internally saying, let be your will, And then in this moment, he reached his final step, his final enlightenment, and he left the body. Of course, this is an extreme example. I don't think, or I don't want to say that you should go, or we should go the same experience, but it is an example about what means to become free from suffering and from pain in this life. It is not about we can avoid it. This is a fake idea, a very dangerous idea, because if we think we can avoid it, we are going to put a lot of energy in something that it is impossible, and when we will fail, we will gather a lot of frustration and reaction and anger. So we cannot avoid it, but we can learn how to open our heart in the presence of our pain and our suffering. And this is the healing process, and there is no higher level of freedom that we can achieve in this world than this one, to be still connected to ourselves and to God, even in the moments in the rough moments, in difficult moments, in the painful moments. This is the highest. So this is the purpose of the God of suffering and the God of pain in shamanism. We are, in our rituals, we are all the time connecting with Him to learn how to do this, to open up, keep our hearts open, even down there. I hope this content is useful for you. If you like it, please give me a like so we can spread this knowledge and this alternative point of view as much as possible. Subscribe if you are not subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.